Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Rise and Slay Talk Show. My name is Rochelle Slay, or Slay Queen Hemingway, CEO and founder of Slay to Success. And y'all, it is to Slay. All right, here on the Rise and Slay Talk Show, we are specifically talking about how to get more visible. All right, you already accomplished, you've already earned your credibility, if you will, in your space. You're looking at expansion, okay? You're looking at more opportunities. You're looking at ways to really showcase what you have experienced so that way you can get additional, additional exposure, if you will. And so I'm here to help you to do just that. If you want to be seen, remembered, trusted, and being very memorable about it, this is the show that you want to tune into every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So let's just get right into it. This is the third episode of the From Experience to Influence series. All right. This is 3 or 4. So the last series that I had was the Visibility Gap series, and we had 4 topics that we spoke about. This one specifically, we talked about the first one, you've done amazing things, now what? The second one was your story is your superpower. Today, we're going to be talking about how to build authority in your industry, specifically in the lane that you want to occupy. All right. So as you come on in, let us know where you're streaming in from. This is open up for conversation, if you will. So let us know your name, and I can give you a shout out. And I just want to thank you for being here live on the show. Okay. We're not just going to be talking about leadership, which is one of the things that I know that I'm really, really great at. Okay. I'm here to show you how to own it. This is a space for highly accomplished women leaders who are stepping outside of their comfort zone even more. All right. And you're ready to align your style, your presence, and your power so that you are seen, okay, heard, remembered in all the different aspects. So today, let's just talk through this. Now, we start with the word slay. All right. Slay means to kill it, to dominate, and to nail it, to be on point, to impress greatly, and to dream big and work hard until you own it. Now, it is also an acronym which stands for the framework for which we build upon getting those opportunities that we are wanting to do, that we desire, and again, we most deserved. And so S stands for strategic identity, L is leadership presence, A is aesthetic authority, and Y is your narrative power. And the goal is to build a strong, memorable personal brand. So we're going to talk about personal branding here, okay, on the show. And today we're going to be talking about how to build your authority in your industry. Now, I am an author, a speaker, a certified image consultant. I've got my master's degree in strategic leadership. But most importantly, I'm a proud United States Air Force veteran. So I served for 30 years, 3 decades in the military. And now I have converted into being a CEO, all right, a founder, if you will, and really have found success by leveraging my personal brand. And so I want to share a little bit about how you can build your authority in the industry that you want to claim, the one that you want to own, the one that you want to dominate. All right. We're good at a lot of things, but what is the one thing that you're really good at? And do people actually know it too? Okay. Because that's what we're getting down to. Do they actually know that you're great at it too? And the only way that they're going to experience you is if you start to activate. All right. You have to act upon it. You have to do a few things. And here, what we share are how to like build the ecosystem. All right. You have to have an ecosystem where someone could just say they're really, really great at, and you just put it into the blank. All right. So most of us don't have a skill problem. We have skills on top of skills on top of skills. I'm talking to the accomplished women leader. We have skills, expertise, and we have time. Okay. We have done things on repeat, and we have seen how we can be highly successful in that area. We're experienced, we're deeply knowledgeable. I mean, we have degrees upon degree. I know a lot of women in the community have multiple degrees, multiple certifications. I see the letters behind people's names or their last names, right? So we don't have a skill problem. We're being trusted within our organization or our circles that we're in. But outside of that circle, there we're really finding difficulty on positioning our authority. I can honestly share my personal experience from this. After serving and I started my business, I thought, hey, everyone would know who I was. And that is a mindset that I had to shift quickly. No one really knew who I was. They knew me in the military, all right, especially towards the end because I had branded myself. I had really taken the sleigh to that next level. I started talking about it on the stages. I broke it out. And at that time, the acronym stand for a very inspirational message. So people started to call me Chief Slay or, a sleigh. And so when I started my business, I was like, you know what? People are going to automatically recognize me when I'm out here on these streets. Absolutely not. Okay. So I had to position myself as an authority. And what did I want my authority to land in? Well, at the time, I really didn't know until I started getting asked to come in to speak. And I was like, okay, I want to be known as a speaker. Okay. What do speakers do? Speakers speak. So this is how I built the two shows because I realized that people weren't just going to automatically reach out to me. I had to do more, and which is putting myself out here. So I created two talk shows, and I call them my talk shows because I I know they're like more than a podcast, and that's how the feel that I want it to have. But I wanted to make sure that my visibility that I had when I was in the military wasn't going to create a limitation when I retired. All right. So this shift, it must happen. It has to happen. So anyone who's transitioning from a long career into a new career, or say you're going to be out as a community leader, or perhaps you're stepping into an executive leadership role, like a C suite role or whatnot. The shift has to happen. People knew you from one lens. Now you're creating a different lens for them to really get to know you because there's a difference between being good at what you do and being recognized for what you do. There's a clear difference between the two. So, authority is not just about competence. Okay. We have so many things that we can point to that says that we're the experts. Okay. But authority is not just about competence, it is about communication and positioning. Good morning, Queen. How you doing? Welcome to the Rise and Slay Talk Show. Happy to slay. Hope that you're feeling well, doing well, getting your workout in and all the things, Queen. Okay? Because that's what we do here in Slay Nation. If you are listening and you are part of Slay Nation are trailblazers, change makers, agents, leaders in their own right. And we're pretty much setting up our communities so that way people can actually follow us because we understand that there's more to life than just existing. Okay. So thank you so much for being here with me this morning, Queen. All right. So I want to break down what actually builds authority in the lane that you want to occupy. Okay. For whatever industry that you want. Again, I'm a speaker, author, image consultant, personal brand strategist, right? So for the lane that I am in and I want to occupy, there are three pillars, and this can apply to any industry. All right. So this is just not specific to mine, but I I I lean in heavily. I'm leaning in very heavily into these areas. And so let's just break it down. Okay, speaking. Speaking builds credibility. When someone's starting a business or starting into a new career or going into that next level of leadership, really thinking about your speaking arm. Everyone should have a speaking arm. What does this mean? How do you communicate what you do, how you do it, so people get to know you? So, not just in your meetings, but in public spaces. This could be on panels, conferences, workshops, webinars, podcasts, talk show like this one. But I see a lot of women waiting to be chosen. And they'll even tell me, oh, you know what? I've been like, going to these networking events. I have been, going to these PTA board meetings, whatever the space that they're in. And they're just waiting for someone to call upon them. And I'm like, well, what are you doing to create, an opportunity for you to speak? You can do this on many levels. And I just gave you some examples. All right. You can be on panels, you be in conferences. You don't really need to be on a stage to have your own stage. I'll just put that out there. All right. So, what we're trying to do is position ourselves to be visible. If people only knew you in the private rooms, okay, again, my private room, the parallel that I have is the military. That was my private room. Then my influence stayed private, okay, private to that community, private to that system. And I needed to really work on how my voice was going to travel beyond the job title, beyond the title of chief, beyond the title of airman, okay, because they put the big A onto our titles too, okay. I had to learn how to do that. So I want you to ask yourself, where is your voice currently being heard right now? And then where is it missing? Where is it missing? What is it that you're trying to go into that you need to make sure that people get to know you, they get to experience how you show up? Those are the things that we need to start to work on. All right. So, definitely speaking needs to be a pillar of building your authority. That's number one. The third pillar that I think every one of us should have is writing. Okay. Our ideas build authority, and all of us have ideas about a lot of things. When I started to write my first book, I didn't realize that it would be a way for me to access different places. Didn't have any idea. I was challenged to write a book about my experience in the military. And this is the book. Like, if you have seen this cover, okay? And at the time, I just started to write about every base that I was stationed at and a story that was attached to every base, the lesson that I learned. And I was stationed over 10 bases, y'all. All right. I was deployed to 4 or 5 different areas, and I don't even know what the number is. But I talk about it in this book. I had no idea that this would be a way for people to get to know me. I use this as my business card. Okay. I am not trying to be the best selling an author or the, top seller of the world. Okay. This is only for the people that I have been assigned to, but it gained access. And also, I wear pink. Okay. This was published in 2022. I can continue to show up the way that I'm showing up now because I knew it was for me. But all of us should be writing something, whether or not it is a book, whether or not there are articles, maybe blogs, thought leadership posts, LinkedIn content. Like I lean heavily on LinkedIn because I understand that the experiences that I had in the military, they really resonate in that space. So you have to find the spaces. But this really does three things. Speaking is visible, okay? While writing is permanence, meaning it does three things. It clarifies your thinking, it positions your expertise, and it extends your influence beyond the room you're in. So I encourage you, if you're not writing, get to writing. Yes, it's a little bit difficult, but once you get a system, which is the system that I share in the Slate to Success experiences, well, we're going to get to, and I'll talk a little bit about that towards the end. But we start to think about what does that look like and how you can continue to be consistent with writing. I'm on my second book right now. I'm writing my second book. It's a little bit harder than it was the first one because I have competing things going on. Okay. I have AJ in the basketball. It's summertime and there's some vacays that we're taking. So I have to be very intentional with my time, but I understand writing that next journey because that was like the beginning. Now I'm like in the midst. I'm 5 years out from retirement and a lot of things have changed. So I'm writing about it. All right. But writing clarifies your thinking, positions your expertise, and extends your influence beyond the room you're in. Hey, Monica. Hey, Queen. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you are well. Oh my goodness. I was just talking about you the other day, Queen. That human design assessment, I'm telling you, it was everything. I hope you're doing well. I hope the family's doing well. And so good to see you live here on the show this morning. And I'm glad that you're loving this conversation. Okay, so you don't need to be a writer. And that was one of the things I had to get past because people were like, oh, people have been writing books, multiple books. They're on like their 10th book. And those are only for people who that's all they do. And I'm like, I do a lot of other things besides writing, but I am a writer. You just need to be willing to be visible through your ideas because if you're silent, it does not build authority. All right. Expression builds authority. So speaking and writing are two pillars of building your authority. Now, what's the third one? The third one is media. This is the one area that I have a lot of the women who are, taking my Slated Success audit and we're going over the results and they're like, I don't know what that looks like. I'm not into social media. My Facebook account was closed years ago, or I haven't created a LinkedIn account. Like, I don't even know where to begin. And through the audit, and if they're like, okay, I need some more support, and I guide and implement and help them with the media so that way they can continue to show up because showing up is what's going to get you the opportunities. People don't know who you are unless you put yourself out there. So let's talk about this media. Media is where authority becomes amplified. I noticed while I was still in service that I enjoyed talking. Maybe it's because I was being conditioned over some time and people would just pass me the microphone and I would just have to speak and I had to speak impromptu. And I'm like, oh, okay. Okay, what are we talking about here? So I had to really pay attention to conversations that I really didn't want to, but I had to because I knew they were going to ask me to engage. So, I would engage and I would talk through. And then during the pandemic, I started doing lives. And these live was just me pushing the button. And I didn't know what to expect because people had so many questions about the COVID restrictions, the rules, the guidelines, and so forth. And so I would just put myself out there to try to answer some questions. But what I found during that process is that I enjoyed being on stages, like the virtual space stages. So that has turned into a whole lot of other things like podcasting on other people's podcasts, doing interviews. I have done a lot since I retired, but this is where we get to amplify our authority. So, again, interviews, podcasts, panels, being featured, being a guest appearance. When others speak about your expertise, your credibility expands. But media does not find you by accident. It's not by accident, y'all. We're being intentional. That's what Slay to Success means. Slay to Success is very intentional and we're doing it on purpose. All right. We're making a lot of noise and people are like taking notice. So, what I know that has found to be true is if we position ourselves to be seen, people will get to know what we are doing. They'll be dropping your name in rooms that you're not in. So that means you're doing less work. Like, so if you are someone who's a little bit scared about media, all right, I need you to reach out to me. I'll get you past that because you need to create a system on how you're going to continue to show up and be consistent in your visibility. So, if someone searched for your name today, what authority signals would they find? If they go and put you into the Google, because that's what people are doing right now, all right? They're not specifically listening to everything that someone else is saying. Most of the times when your name is being dropped, they'll go straight to their phone, they'll put in the search engine, and they're going to put your name in there, and they're going to see what it comes up to be. So we've got to do this reality check because many of us are waiting to be discovered. But authority is not discovered. It is built intentionally through speaking. Okay, so we're going to speak our expertise. We're going to write our perspectives, and we're going to show up where visibility exists. No question about it. All right. And so, again, my experience, I had to learn how to translate my experience into visibility in a completely different world where, no one really understood what I was doing. You know what's really, really like shocking to me, but it's not? People didn't even know what I was doing in the military, and they never really asked. Okay. And so when I share what I was doing, they're like, oh, but it's so funny because we feel like everyone should get the military. Everyone should get our past career experiences from wherever that is. And it's just not true. So we have to learn to speak, we have to learn to write, and we have to learn to show up. So what I want you to do this week is I want you to do 3 things. And then there'll be a 4th thing. So the first thing is I want you to identify one place you can speak, even if it's virtually. All right. Maybe some organization is asking for people to come in and share, and it's in alignment with what you do. All right. Why don't you just reach out to them or even put a message in their DM? People do that for me all the time. They put can I be a guest on the Slay to Success talk show? I'm like, okay, let me look up your profile. Let me look up kind of who you are, what you're going to speak about. And if it's alignment, I'm like, yeah, let's go, queen. I've had a lot of women come onto my show for the very first time. And that is where they start their whole media experience, their whole speaking arm of whatever they're trying to do. And it's just absolutely enlightening to me. We don't have time. Okay, let's just put it into that. We don't have time to be afraid to show up. What are we waiting for? All right. Tomorrow's not promised to you. I tell you that. It's not promised to any of us. So while we're here and while we have the opportunity and we have air in our lungs, we need to create ways for people to remember us. And if you are in business, going from one career to the next, or stepping up to that next level, all of these, or what I'm speaking about, applies to you. It's about building the authority in the industry in which you want to occupy. And most importantly, you want to dominate. So we can't be afraid. We got to get past that. So I want you to identify one place you can speak at, write one post about what you know deeply, and then I want you to identify a platform where your voice should be visible and it's not there yet. All right. Now, I didn't build the authority in this space overnight. It has taken time. All right. Now, again, like I said, 5 years in, and I'm still at it. So this is not like a one, you know, thing and you just move on to the next. It's building upon what you already know, and you have to do it through reputation or repetition and positioning. So, with all this being said, the first action that I have, those that are interested in what I've been sharing and how they can get started, is to do an audit. It is a complimentary audit. It's called a Slay to Success audit. There's nothing special about the name. It's just, the business name and put audit on the end of it. And that's where you really get to discover where you're really at. And it's complimentary because I want every woman in the space that we're in the community, to be able to see that these are possible. This is possible. You go from accomplishments to influence. All right. And that's presence. That's personal branding. And so all the things that I speak to, it's the personal branding is your appearance, behaviors, your communications skills, and your digital presence. If you can master these 4 areas for wherever you're trying to go, I can guarantee you success. Pretty much. Okay. I have had clients that are blowing my head off right now, and I don't even know how to keep up with them. They are out there and they are going for what they want to go for, and they're making their dreams reality. So you do the audit, right? After you do the audit, then the next level is a strategy session, going over your audit results. And in that strategy session, I'll identify the gaps. And then you have, some actions that you can take to start to implement. And most women who come to me for the strategy session are able to do things on their own because we're very ambitious. All right. We're go getters. We take on projects, we take on challenges like no one else's business. But there are some of us that are like, you know what? I need additional support. I want to completely transform how I show up. I want my life to look a certain way. I don't have enough energy. All right. I got energy on top of energy, y'all, because I'm in alignment with what I was designed to do. I had been called to be here to speak to you, to share with you, to hold up a flag, if you will, and say, hey, follow me. This is the way that we're going to do it. This was what I have called like modern leadership. This is in today's time. This era is different. You can't just solely depend on the work that you have done and the accomplishments that you have achieved. You do need to do some extra steps if you want to have consistent opportunities flowing in. All right. I have 4 speaking opportunities between now and the end of July. This is how it has been going for me over the past couple of years. I have speaking opportunities on top of speaking opportunities, but not because it's just by me just being here. It's because I've been putting myself out here in the spaces for where I want to be. And sometimes that's hard to do. But if you are looking for transformation, which is my bread and butter, all right. And I'm very great at it. I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but I kind of am. I'm really great at helping other women leaders transform so they're really seen. All right. And they're really getting after what they want. And so in that transformational experience, we'll break it out with the SLAY method and all the things that go with that, the how-tos and how to get started. I'm more like the catalyst, all right? I'm the fire starter. I put it out there, and then you take the steps every session to make sure that you're building. So again, those are the three ways, right? You get the audit. So if you are interested in the audit, either DM me, send me a LinkedIn message, send me a Facebook message, whatever, however that looks like for you to contact me. I'm everywhere, so I'll see the message, I'll send it to you, and then after you can reach out to me if you want me to identify the gaps and go over your results. But if you want more and you really want to make a go at it, then that's when you can step into the Slate to Success transformational experiences. Okay, y'all. So this has been the third episode of the Experience to Influence series. Today we talked about building authority in your industry, and the three pillars that which you could do that through is speaking, writing, and media visibility. Okay. So I want you all to have a slay amazing week. All right. It's the beginning of the week. It is 4th of July. There's a lot of things that are happening. Please stay safe, stay well, make sure you're moving your body every single day, whatever that looks like. All right. Because we got a lot to do. And most importantly, keep on slaying until you can't slay no more. And I will see you all. Not this Sunday night because it is a weekend, but the following Sunday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Slate to Success Talk Show. All right, y'all. Love y'all. Take care. Thank you so much, Monica and Chevy, for being here live with me today on the Rise and Slay Talk Show. Bye-bye.